It happened over 20 years ago. I grew up in a small village deep in the northern Borneo islands. Life back then was simple. Quiet mornings filled with the sound of roosters, barefoot afternoons playing by the river, and evenings warmed by the soft glow of oil lamps. But there was always something strange about our village, the old blind lady. She lived alone in a decaying house at the edge of the village. The bamboo walls were worn and rotting, and it was surrounded by overgrown grass and dark trees. Few ever caught a glimpse of her in the daylight. She seemed to come alive only when the sun faded, slipping through the shadows at dusk or beneath the cover of night. No one could remember a time when she wasn't there. Age clung to her like a heavy shroud. Her thin, white hair hung around her pale face, and her milky eyes stared blankly into nothing. Yet somehow, you always felt her gaze crawling over you, as if she saw more than she let on. Some evenings on our way home, I would see her walking along the side of the road, a faded sarong bag wrapped tightly around her chest. My father always warned me, if you see her, don't speak to her, don't even look at her. I never understood why, until it happened to Maden and his wife Uji. Even now, the memory haunts me. Maden was a family friend who lived with his wife in a neighboring village, not too far from our house. They lived in a traditional bamboo house, with walls and floors made of bamboo, supported by sturdy hardwood beams. The roof was crafted from woven rumbia leaves, and the soft creaking of bamboo underfoot was a familiar sound. At the time, they was expecting their first child. The night air was cool, seeping through the gap between the bamboo planks. A faint chill lingered, making the rustling of the leaves outside sound even sharper in the quiet darkness. After finishing their dinner, Maden and Uji were preparing for bed. The oil lamp cast soft shadows across the bamboo walls. That's when they heard it. A voice, low and unsettling. Maden didn't recognize it, but something about it felt wrong, like it didn't belong. It was the old lady. She was outside their house, her thin, cracked voice cutting through the night. "Help me!" she cried. "Let me in!" The words came in frantic bursts, rising and falling with a strained, desperate edge, like she was barely holding herself together. She kept shouting over and over, the sound growing louder and more desperate. Her voice cracked, turning into a sharp, high-pitched scream that echoed through the night. But something about it was wrong, unnatural. Maden hesitated. It wasn't unusual for villagers to help each other, especially the elderly. But her voice, there was something off about it, something that made his skin crawl. Maden finally got up and peered out through the small window. He could see her standing outside the bamboo fence. "Go away!" Maden shouted, his voice tense and sharp. "It's late!" But she didn't move. She stood there, her face tilted toward the house, her mouth slightly open as if whispering something too faint to hear. A heavy silence settled over the night. The screaming had stopped, but the quiet that followed felt even more unsettling. Maden assumed she was gone. He helped Uji lay out the mattress as they prepared to sleep, though a lingering unease gnawed at him. Later that night, Maden drifted between sleep and wakefulness. Beside his wife, he heard it. A slow, deliberate scratching sound, soft but unnervingly precise. He sat up, heart pounding, his quick, shallow breaths filling the quiet. He thought it might be a monitor lizard beneath the bamboo floor, nothing unusual for a farmer. He strained to listen. The sound was coming from beneath the bamboo floor, faint but unmistakable. Maden crouched down and peered through the narrow gap between the bamboo floor. And that's when he saw it. A face, the old lady's face. Her milky white eyes stared up at him through the gaps in the bamboo floor. His breath hitched. Her mouth was unnaturally wide, too wide. Her bony fingers gripped the bamboo slats as she smiled. Maden stumbled back, a sharp cry escaping his throat. "Who are you?" he shouted. "What are you doing? Go away!" He grabbed Uji and pulled her away from the spot. The old lady's face slipped back into the darkness beneath the bamboo floor. A moment later, silence returned. The next morning, Madan showed up at our house, looking pale and unsteady. He told my father everything. My father listened in silence. His face darkens. Then, without a word, he stood up. My father said, "Go to the back of the house. Take as many lime branches as you can find, especially the thorny ones." His voice was calm but firm. "Lay them around your house in an orderly line without leaving any gaps, especially beneath the bamboo floor." Madan didn't ask why. He just nodded and did as he was told. Later that night, Madine heard noises outside his house, soft but deliberate, like something moving through the dark. It was the old lady again. "Let me in," she shouted, her voice sharp and desperate, cutting through the stillness of the night. Madine kept his eyes away from the window, heart pounding. Then he heard it. The slow, strained creak of the bamboo fence under pressure. She was climbing the fence. The thin bamboo groaned and bent under the weight of her frail body as she pulled herself over, the sound deep and strained. Madan's heart pounded as he heard the soft thud of her feet hitting the ground on the other side. Slowly, he pressed his face to a gap in the bamboo wall, his breath quick and shaky. Moonlight filtered through the narrow slats, casting thin, jagged lines across his face. His heart hammered painfully in his chest as he saw her approaching. Slowly, she walked toward Madan's house, her bare feet dragging across the dirt path. The twilight air was thick and heavy, clinging to her skin like damp cloth. Her head hung low, thin white strands of hair falling over her pale face. Her arms swayed unnaturally at her sides, moving with a strange, loose rhythm as she walked. Her milky white eyes stared blankly ahead, unfocused, yet fixed, drawn toward the house by an unseen force. Yet Madan could feel it. She was looking straight at him. She stopped at the edge of the house, just before the line of lime branches. A low growl, tangled with distorted whispers, filled the air. The lime branches lay in a tight circle around the house, and her bare feet stood just at the edge. Her mouth twitched as she struggled to form words. Then she screamed, a raw, broken sound. But Madine couldn't understand what she was saying. Her voice rose, sharp and furious, cutting through the night like a blade, a shrill, piercing scream. Her body trembled with rage, but no matter how hard she screamed, she wouldn't or couldn't cross the line of lime branches. Then, silence. After a while, Madan heard movement outside. He grabbed a torchlight and stepped to the doorway, the sharp click of the switch breaking the silence. He swept the beam across the dark surrounding, just the shadowy outlines of trees swaying gently in the breeze. Then he turned the light toward a large tree near the fence, and then he saw her, perched on a branch high above the ground, staring down at him. The branch creaked softly under her weight as her thin body swayed with the wind. Her head hung at an unnatural angle, as if her neck were broken. Madan's mind raced. His chest tightened as he stared at her swaying figure. He pondered, how could an old woman, frail and thin, have climbed that high? The tree was tall and slick with moss, hard for even a young man to climb. Yet there she was, balanced on a thin branch, her bare feet resting lightly, as if the tree itself had helped her up. Her mouth gaped unnaturally wide, stretched beyond what seemed possible for a human face. Her pale, lifeless eyes locked onto Madan, unblinking. She remained perfectly still, her gaze drilling into him. And then, slowly, her lips curled into a thin, chilling smile. Panic surged through Madan's chest as he stumbled back, his breath ragged. Go away! He screamed, his voice cracked with fear and desperation. Leave us alone! His hands trembled, the torchlight shaking as he pointed it toward the tree. What do you want? His heart hammered painfully in his chest, the sound almost deafening in the heavy silence that followed. Madden pushed the bamboo door shut with trembling hands, securing the latch with a sharp click. He and Uji huddled together on the bamboo floor. The dim light from the oil lamp flickered, casting restless shadows across the room. They huddled in silence, wide-eyed, and listening to the faint rustle of the wind outside, waiting anxiously for the dawn. The next morning, Madden gathered the courage to speak to the villagers. His voice was low and strained as he recounted everything that had happened. The villagers listened in silence, their face turned dark with unease. That's when someone finally spoke, and Madine learned the unsettling truth. Rumors about the old lady had circulated through the village for years. People whispered that she practiced black magic, that she could sense when a woman was pregnant. They said she could smell the scent of blood, especially from women close to giving birth. Some even claimed that she was drawn to the blood spilled after childbirth, feeding on the life it carried. A few days later, Uji gave birth to a healthy baby at the clinic in the neighboring village. After that night, the old lady was never seen again. It was as if, after the baby was born, whatever dark force had drawn her near had vanished, leaving nothing behind but an unsettling silence. But sometimes, late at night, some villagers claimed to see her shadow lingering at the edge of the forest, a pale figure standing unnaturally still, watching from beneath the trees. Her head would lean to one side, mouth slightly open, as if she were waiting or listening for something. And to this day, I wonder, what if Madden hadn't laid those lime branches? Would the old lady have found what she was searching for inside the house?